Welcome back to the Thing About Parenting. Please remember that the information that we share here is not meant to replace or substitute that of licensed professionals. If you, your family, or your child are experiencing anything beyond the scope of what we share here, please seek professional help. All right, so I'm back with family and friends and here to talk about more things social media. And the first thing I want to kind of address is for all of you, when parents want to have a conversation with their children about the dangers or their concerns about social media, what do you think are the best ways to have that conversation?
Should we just start at the end and work our way down?
That works. We can start
first.
from here onward.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'll take your ideas.
Oh, that's like an open-ended question.
Yeah.
I'd say, I don't know. It sounds really simple, but if I had a kid, I would ask them if they had a moment to talk. I'd say I have something really important on my mind. It's important in general, and I want to share it with you. Are you comfortable coming to the kitchen table and sitting down and having a dialogue with me? And I'm going to share some things that are going to be uncomfortable about the world, but this needs to be said. Something along those lines. What I would do.
Okay.
Can I say sex?
Okay, yeah.
Like, just the way that you phrased that very much reminded me of like the talk.
Birds and bees.
Yeah. I feel like a more organic approach would be better, especially with children now. I think that to kids like coming of age, whether it be the talk or like the social media talk, consider that, for lack of a better word, a meme.
And so explain to parents who don't know what a meme is.
So a meme, there's two definitions of meme at this point, but a meme at its base definition is just something repeatable. So like a really good example of a meme that isn't comedic is, and this was told to me by somebody else, is whenever you go to like a hotel and you know how the toilet paper's folded into a triangle, that's a meme. Because everyone does it. Like it's just repeated and it's shared and it's, everyone does it.
Okay.
So it's kind of like an archetype, but different.
Something relatable.
Yes, yeah, like it's just a thing that everyone does and shares. So that's the base definition of a meme. Obviously, there's a new definition of meme, but way off track there. But I think children are going to equate that like seriousness to the talk, and they're going to no, like that. I'm not going to pay attention. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to shut off. I think it needs to be an organic discussion, like, oh hey, what you looking at? Like, what's so funny? But not like so intrusive. It needs to be very open-ended, or like try to let your kid come to you about it, if you can. Or what would even be better is to include them on your social media, like adventures, whatever you're doing. Like, oh hey, look at this funny video I saw. Kind of like with my mom example, we used to go on YouTube and watch like funny cat videos, and even make our own Spaceman Sam. And like that was an early form of social media for us as kids that I felt was a good introduction to like how to navigate that space and find out what was appropriate and what was inappropriate. But I think it not necessarily shouldn't be like a talk and talk dialogue, but it should be an exploration together, like discovering, honestly, how to navigate and how to find out what's safe and what's not.
Okay.
I have words. I understand you.
Thank you.
This is coming from a 17-year-old.
Oh yeah, I'm 29.
If this were to, maybe not me, but most of the time it's me. Whenever anybody comes up to me and is like, "Hey, what do you find so funny?" I immediately am like, "Oh, I don't."
It happened 15 times this week.
Shut up.
But you also share things.
Even if it's like not embarrassing, I'm still gonna be embarrassed about it. And I think a lot of people my age are gonna do that, especially if it's coming from their parents.
So it could be more of like being open to having someone show you a video.
So then if it feels embarrassing, if your parents are coming and asking you as parents coming to a 17-year-old, and they're just not necessarily trying to be intrusive, but just curious, what do you recommend?
Well, I don't think anyone's gonna take it as their parents just being curious. I think the kids nowadays are immediately gonna be like, oh, they think I'm doing something wrong.
There's definitely a feeling of like hovering, I feel like, with
Yeah.
kids now. They just feel like they're being watched.
And they're
constantly.
always gonna be like, oh, like I don't need you to monitor me.
Okay, so me as your parent, Madison, and I'm not necessarily judging what you're watching on social media or whatever. I'm just genuinely curious. When I ask, how do you feel?
Oh, I don't care. That
Okay.
much. I care
But-
not from about you, but if it's coming from like Gabriel because he'll fuck with me. He'll mess with me about it.
I think that is an important distinction to make, though,
But at the
because mom won't judge you, and he will.
it's really about the relationship that this parent has with their child.
There's gonna be a healthy basis.
It needs to be like your kid knows, and even if the parent is like, hey, I'm just curious, I don't want to judge you. If
That's
you
judgy.
feel like you're gonna like, if this kid feels like their parent is a judger, they're not gonna want to do it.
Yeah.
No matter what the parent says.
And kids are very sensitive to that. Adults are very sensitive to that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's awesome. Okay, so Tommy, what are some of your thoughts on?
I agree with Jessica in that it needs to be an organic conversation. Something scripted will probably be just.
They'll notice.
They'll notice and they'll probably brush it off. But in addition to it being organic, I think a good way to initiate it is coming at it from a place of safety. Because I think at the root, that's really what parents want. They want their child to be safe, and that's the problem with social media, is that it is inherently not safe. So if you bare your heart, so to speak, and be like, hey, I'm coming at this from a point of safety, and of course do it a little more organically. I'm just kind of winging it here. But if you come at it from a point of safety and let them understand your concerns and that they are not being safe, or not necessarily not being safe, but if you don't understand what your child's doing, then it could not be safe. And they might not even realize that they're not being safe. So
Okay.
letting them know that and setting maybe some ground rules or time together. I really like the idea of including them in the parents' social media so that they can learn from them. That makes the most sense to me. I think that would be received well.
Okay.
Well received.
To normalize it.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, well, definitely normalizing it, because if it seems like when you go, no, this is forbidden, then they're kind of like, ooh, now I want to check it out. Yeah. Okay.
And to piggyback off of what you said, kind of putting the child in this case in a position of like teaching, like, hey, I'm old, teach me how to better use Instagram.
Oh.
In order for me to make this account that I want to like feature you on. Like when we go on adventures, I want to post a picture of us. How do I do that? And then while having that conversation, try to extend that to, so what do you use Instagram for? And that could lead into a lot of other conversations as to what it is they're looking at, or doing, who they're communicating with, and stuff like that. Like for me, example, I mentioned that I don't really use Instagram for communicating all that much. I do, but not as much as some people. I mostly use it for watching videos, like consumption of food content, media regarding like movies that I like or comic books, all of that stuff. So that you can get different things out of it. So you would have to ask a lot of questions in order to see like, what do you use this for? And from that, you can address your concerns as well. I heard this. Do you get involved in any? Has anyone reached out to you asking for information? That's what I heard from the news or whatnot. Allow the child in this case to put your concerns at ease instead of trying to like pry it from them.
Mm-hmm.
So the kind of a bit of full transparency.
Nice.
I think putting a kid in a position of power like that too is also very important, because it gives them a chance to be an adult. depending on their age, of course. But yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. I didn't think about that at all. That's awesome.
That's a good way to script an organic moment.
Mhm.
You're initiating something that's teachable. You're learning. They're learning. That's great.
I think that's super smart.
That's awesome. Okay, any other thoughts on that?
I think they really did cover it pretty well. Just being organic about it.
Yeah, you don't force it.
Yeah.
Whatever you do.
No pesticides.
No pesticides. Don't force it. Don't try to be a helicopter parent. Don't judge.
Yeah.
Regardless of your feelings, do not judge and
Yeah.
do not give off the feeling of judging because they'll pick up on it.
Yeah, and they'll get defensive.
And then they will never talk to you again.
Ever.
Which is so important. Coming from a 17-year-old over there, they won't talk to you again if they feel like they're judged or shamed.
Yep.
For
Very easy to
because curiosity is normal.
Mhm.
You know, so there's some clients that I have that, and I'll just go there. Their kids, you know, they find out that their children are looking at porn, and the parents are freaking out, thinking, "Oh my gosh, my child is, you know, forever damaged." But there's something to a natural and normal curiosity, and so let's go to that next level. Next level, when they're
Tracy, I saw a little mute sign on there. Is the microphone on? Okay, just making sure.
I think the mute sign turns on to turn us off.
okay, I think we're still good.
Yeah, I think we're getting audio because the little bars.
It's pretty
moving.
Oh, yep, I see it. Okay, okay, just making sure.
All good. Yeah, no, it's cool. So when it comes to when our children are accessing porn, if any of you, and I'm not saying any of you did, but you know, if that had happened, if you had accidentally or intentionally accessed porn because you were just curious, what would you want your parents to do if that came up?
Never bring it up.
Okay.
Because I mean, from experience, it was brought up in our house,
Okay.
and it was just wholly uncomfortable, and there was no right way to address that.
Okay. So it's not a matter. It's definite. So then it's not a matter of saying, "Hey, I know you looked this up." Like
That's
so-
accusatory.
Oh, I have something to
Well,
say.
no, because there have been times like when we had the computer over here, and somebody was looking up something college related, and then porn came up, and so yeah, because you don't know, like the most innocent. So when I can't remember which one of you I was pregnant with.
But it doesn't matter who looked it up.
Okay. No. I'm just saying, when I was pregnant with one of you, I looked up a celebrity that was pregnant at the same time. I think it was Cindy Crawford, and it all became porn. So when our children are looking up things innocently,
Was it just like lewd, or was it actual porn?
it was actual porn.
I was gonna say I have something to put to that. I remember one time I googled my name and Google Images, and I saw, I scrolled down and I saw porn.
Yeah. So
Names are dangerous.
So but if that comes, if that comes up, I don't necessarily know computer systems and whatever and what have you, but like Mac seems a little bit safer than the other. No, okay. So, but when I researched that celebrity's name, it was not on a Mac. But here's the thing: is if the parent sees that the child has looked up porn, what would you want? How would you best recommend talking to your child about it?
Okay, go first.
I think if you found out your kids looked up porn,
Even if
and
it's accidentally.
and you have this conversation, I have a feeling your kid is never gonna look it up ever again.
No, wrong.
Really?
I looked it up.
Martinez?
Well,
Okay,
depending on
Jesus Christ.
depending on how you approach it.
But
Oh,
even if you're
yeah.
absolutely flat out embarrassed, the kid's gonna be like, ew, and then the next night it's gonna be like, oh, well, whatever.
Okay, I am a very different.
You're a bit, well, yeah, you're different.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
You're in a different situation.
Okay, so in a let's say a typical situation, what for all of you, let's just say that happened and your parents found out. how would have wanted them to approach it?
I would have wanted them to explain is a weird word to use there because that's not quite right. But to make me understand that it's not real. The same way that you watch like an action movie and people are jumping off of buildings and they get shot and they walk it off, that's not actually happening. And the same thing is that's going on in porn. They are actors and actresses. They are putting on a show. It's not what sex or any of that is really like. And I would have wanted to know that as a kid.
Can I make what is the word? I want to add to what you're talking about. And in the fact that I think so ideally, I think a lot of us would say we wouldn't want our parents to talk to us about it because it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
But if you do talk to them, and in your case where you said, parents talking to the child about it and explaining this is a production, this is something that's produced for an audience. It is a business that happens, and like explain that's the reality of the situation. But the sex is real. The sex is real.
Yes.
The sex, if it's intercourse on screen, it's happening.
Yeah.
They're actors choosing to do that, and I think that sex education needs to come into the equation. And the parent, as a parent, I would step up and be like, okay, what did you watch? You watched this? Were they having intercourse? You don't know what that means? Okay, I'm gonna bring out the book.
Let's Google it.
The book, says intercourse. Here's the definition. I mean, the definition's on Google too. And then I would educate them. And I'd explain, this is what this is. There's many forms of it. You might come, if you're going to look this up again, I'll explain it to you. I'm happy to do that. And everybody's different.
Yeah.
But like, my experience has been talking back and forth, like talking to my parent, having a dialogue was something that was normalized in my household.
Yeah.
We talked about everything. If I was confused, if I was curious, and I very often was, we didn't talk about sex a lot. But we talked about everything else, uncomfortable topics.
Yeah.
So that's my style, and I'm fine with that. And I would gladly do that for those things. I'd rather them know what intercourse is. What if they need to know what oral sex is, because that's in a lot of porn. And other forms of intercourse and stuff like that. Like, I think if you have a teenager, even like a middle school age kid, because they go to sex ed class in middle school. And like
It sucks.
kids
though.
kids
Quote, unquote.
unfortunately in this world, so the point of like you said earlier about looking up something innocent and you get results back.
Yeah.
Search engines have done a little work to limit it, but back in the day, you just stumble on
It was like the
image
Wild
number
West, man.
3
Yeah.
could be that.
Yeah.
And it's still a lot like that. Doesn't matter what OS you use. Doesn't matter what kind of computer, what kind of smartphone. It's going to happen. And like, unfortunately, kids even younger than like preteens in middle school might stumble upon it. And I think even then you gotta educate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do agree. Full education is needed. I didn't mean to imply that none of it was real, like it wasn't.
Oh yeah,
happening.
no.
Just that it is unrealistic.
But it's just not. It's not what
I was
real.
gonna add to what Tommy was saying. It's kind of the same thing as like supermodels and stuff. It's just it's unrealistic to that degree.
It's abnormal.
Yeah.
It might create unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
So when this sort of conversation came up, it came up in two different ways in our household growing up. The first one was very accusatory. We didn't really talk about that stuff, and instead of trying to normalize a behavior of like, well, you're 13 years old, you're going through puberty, of course you're going to think about this stuff. It turned into like a blame game, sort of like there's something wrong with you, you're in trouble, all that good stuff. The second way that it came up was a little later, once I had like started trying to get girlfriends, where by now I had sex education in like junior high, and then like a bit in health class and whatnot. And my father came up and was like, "Do you have any questions about sex? I think we should have the talk about the birds and the bees." I was like, "I'm good. I already did a whole report on it. I think I'm good."
We watched a movie.
We watched a movie.
Yeah.
It was very uncomfortable.
Part of it was in Mean Girls.
Yeah.
Oh.
Don't have sex because you will get pregnant and die. I think I covered it. And so those were the two different ways that we had discussed it. But if we had a more open forum for discussion, then it would have been better, just in general.
Yeah.
Education in that sense, answering questions, lack of judgment, or not lack of judgment, but like being free of judgment in that case is all conducive to a better, healthier, and stronger relationship of parent and child.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I think all of that needs to stem from a base. Like, you have to start from the beginning from a place of trust. You can't just like show up at 15 years old and be like, oh no, we need to trust each other now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that needs to be from the beginning. You can't just jump into that.
I want to say now, like, I don't know what it was like for your guys' generation, but I think it's like for the people who are watching this, if they have young kids and they're thinking, oh, like, I'm not going to need to have this talk. Yeah, you do.
you will.
Especially with this new generation, because of social media and how easy it is to get to these things. Because like they're gonna see it and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I have to do this. I'm gonna be a loser if I'm still a virgin."
Yeah.
So
It's not a matter of if, it's when.
Yeah.
it's when. Yeah, it's
And
gonna
I think
happen.
it's better to catch it before it happens.
Yeah. And I
But
think
that's tough because it's the internet.
Yeah.
You just don't know.
yeah, I do think that everyone's right here in that making it normal, making it boring, realistic is the best way to go about it and make the kid not like, oh, I need to experience this, like I need to see this, I need to look at it. Just make it like everything else. I mean,
Don't make it taboo.
yeah, don't make it taboo. It's gonna happen, with very few none except there are no exceptions to this. Everyone is going to
It's
see
gonna happen.
porn
Unless you're
or
just
sex.
not using internet in any capacity whatsoever.
Not even that, because even the Amish
But even-
have sex.
yeah, I
they
was
have
gonna
children.
say.
Oh yeah, sorry, you did say sex. I
Yeah.
thought you just mentioned.
I mean, yeah, they're gonna experience it at some point in
Yeah.
their lives.
Even just watching movies. Or
Even
something.
Yeah,
there's PG-13 movies have like kissing scenes and whatever.
Reading a book.
They're gonna see it.
Yeah.
Lots of books now.
Pick it up with Wattpad.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, by all
smart.
means,
Yeah.
We could
be
give
cautious.
you a list.
It's gonna be a long list. Normalizing it I think is the best way, and making it an open topic for your kid to feel comfortable coming to you and talking about, because whatever your kid watches, it's not going to launch them into like a sex depraved like lifestyle. I almost guarantee that is not gonna happen. So if you catch your kid watching porn, don't panic. Talk to them about it.
I have something to say because what I just said reminded me of something. Like, even if your kid doesn't watch porn, they could very easily read it. Because Wattpad and AO3 and fanfiction.net.
Fanfiction.net.
All of that is free and easy to get to, and they can
peasy.
very easily
They didn't
read
have
porn.
that.
And video games. I mean, Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate is, yeah.
Yeah, a
Just
lot
be
of video
careful when
Yeah.
your kids are. Don't let your kids just buy
The Switch.
games.
I mean, yeah, do research.
What Cody, what we found out recently is that if you go on the Nintendo eShop on the Switch, you can find hentai games
for $2.
for $2.
That's disgusting. Where?
What games?
They're like puzzle games.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And so
Yeah.
the puzzle games are what then?
You put
Like
together
very
a puzzle of porn.
slutty looking anime girls.
They're wearing very skimpy clothes.
Like basically nothing. They have huge boobs.
Okay.
And that also cycles
Well,
back to art. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
that's still like that's
it's not even just
maybe
porn.
not
Well, let's try not to
unrealistic,
body
but it's
shame
mostly unrealistic.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
let
body shaming.
okay, so let me just pause this here. And so we may have to have another episode on all of this that's coming up. I want to take a few minutes here to just have everyone who wants to just share with, children, teens, tweens, whatever. What are your what do you want to suggest to them as having all of you now having had access to social media and internet and all that sort of thing? What do you want to share?
Stay off Reddit.
Reddit's fine if you know how to behave.
If you know how to behave. Stay off Twitter.
Just be careful.
Twitter's also fine if you know how to behave.
Well,
Okay,
not
so
right now.
hang on. Let me start over here with Gabriel.
Hmm.
What are your thoughts? I mean, just what do you want to share? Because you've all had access to it since you were young.
Yeah, I think ideally a parent is the best asset to a child's development, and I don't know much about that, but I feel that in my experience. So, if you're a kid who has a parent who has a
sorry.
parent who cares about you a lot and is willing to like hear you and listen to you and be there for you.
Apologies
Did
for
it
the
make it
kitten
in
that
the-
appeared.
did it make it in the-
Apologies
in
for
the
the
video?
kitten that, yeah, the apologies for the kitten in the corner. A little light moment
Who's
there.
that
Let's just
kitty
go.
in the window?
It's like she's on Jessica's head.
Here's the thing. I'm just real. I'm not going to edit this. This is how you get it. And she's there again.
Her markings look like arms. Like,
Lighten the moment. Okay. I'm not going to edit this because I'm just who I am and this is how it is.
that's funny.
So, Gabriel, could please go ahead and start over again.
The entire train of thought is derailed.
Yeah.
It's gone.
So
You were talking about if you have a parent.
the question was, do we just have to say what we impart our knowledge to other youth? You know, youth
Yeah.
who are younger probably than us. And I want to say that if your parent is cool and comfortable with talking to you and you can tell they care about you and they're not going to judge you, I really would strongly encourage you to reach out to that parent and you have a lot of power as a child in the sense that you are a person, you know, and you are important. And if your parent's able to recognize that, then you should not be afraid to talk to them. And if you see something weird on the internet, first bring it up and you know, if you feel the need to because it's hurting your feelings or it's making you feel fear, then or uncomfortable in any way, I think you need to go to your parents. Your parents' job is to protect you, and you know, if you are confident that they are going to do that job, then you should rely on them for that, and don't feel any shame for having to rely on them. We all need each other, and you know, a child needs a parent.
Love that.
Piggybacking off of Gabriel too, protection, absolutely. Do not smother them. Whatever you do, do not smush. Like, protection is one thing, but don't cage them. It's a very important distinction. I'm going to interpret this question as advice to youngins
Yeah.
of all ages. Rule number one, do not trust anybody on the internet. Ever. It doesn't matter how cool they are, how nice their art is, how funny, how cool their
Their
videos,
followers.
whatever, does not matter. Don't trust anybody on the internet. Look at them like you would look at a stranger walking down the street. Like, they're strangers. Don't bother. They're not your friend. Rule number two, practice critical thinking and second thoughts. Always look at things twice. If you look at something and you're like, wow, that's kind of weird, look at it again. And think about it. Critical thinking is very, very important. And on top of that, like, teach your parents that too. Because I think a lot of parents, and I'm not trying to judge, but this is just based off my
Fair.
observations and what I've seen in my experience in the working world, in real life, and on social media. There's a lot of people who don't know how to critical think. And I think trying to spread that information and that thought process and direction with people is really important.
I want to add on to what you just said. I think it's really important because, like what you just said about parents also having critical thinking, is if the parents see anything slightly abnormal on the internet, they're going to take it as bad immediately. Not even if it isn't bad, they're going to be like, "That's bad." No.
Research.
So make sure if you are a parent and you think you see something bad, do a double take, because there's a very good chance it's not. Well, actually, there's a good chance it's bad, but
Yeah.
it could
There's
not
a great
be
chance
bad.
it's bad. Absolutely. And I think rule number 3, piggybacking off of that too, is research. Like, research is very important. Make it a hobby to research things, whether that be just words you don't know in a book, all the way to like a stance someone takes on Twitter about something. Research that. Find out if it's something you truly believe in, or if it's just someone you thought was cool on the internet said it, and you're like, oh yeah, I believe that now too. Look it up. See what it is, see what it means. And I think that's a great way to navigate the internet and social media safely.
Awesome.
I'd recommend watching your settings carefully. Make sure you're not putting yourself out there. I think we talked about it before with Snapchat. It defaults to having everyone know your location. So
You have to opt out.
you have to opt out. So watch your settings carefully, really research what you're using. And I wouldn't recommend posting your daily life. I mean, you can post as much as you want, but in my experience, posting less works better.
So what do you mean by posting your daily life?
Like if you're going for a jog, you're just recording yourself jogging.
Oh,
and
okay.
now someone knows your route.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
So that can put you in danger. And just you open yourself up to criticism. When
Oh, yeah.
something isn't necessarily worthy of criticism, but there are a lot of people that will criticize you anyway. Because because they want to feel bigger than you or what have you. So I'd say watch your settings, don't post anything that will reveal your location, and keep your group small. Your close friends, those that prop you up, those that aren't going to diminish you as a person just for, I don't know, the way you make a sandwich or something mundane.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna steal you back before it goes to Martinez, but that cycles back to my number one, that like don't trust anyone on the internet.
Yeah.
Whether they're saying something really cool or they're saying something really stupid,
They're probably lying.
they're probably lying to you, and it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what they say
Yeah. Don't trust anybody you meet on the internet.
ever.
Okay. Awesome.
There's a reason why critical thinking is a college level course. It's not something that you just inherently know. It needs to be taught to you and practiced. And when you can start doing that, you can more easily navigate a lot of these issues, because you will be thinking for yourself, but you will also be thinking of others while doing that. It becomes an sort of all-encompassing decision-making process, which, when done with a little bit of care, will aid in keeping you safe and keeping you literate with your social media consumption or with your media consumption, and it'll also help you communicate your likes, dislikes, and your behaviors that may be in question to the parent that you need to talk to. Because you do need to find a way to communicate with your parent. I, for one, did not have a way to communicate with my parent, and that relationship is forever strained. Once that ability to talk to them, to form that sort of relationship is gone, it's really hard to get it back, if you do ever get it back.
What age would you say like that relationship fully cracked? Like, and it was like there's no turning back at this point. Is there?
Like 6.
There you go. So start early, kids.
Yeah, like I
Wow.
mean, what in those sort of years up until like high school, like or until you're an adult when you turn 18, there's still time for you to find a way to communicate with your parent and start having dialogue with them. It just becomes increasingly more difficult.
Yeah.
So if you don't, it's like a muscle. If you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
And you need to use it because, like it was said, your parents are there to protect you in one way or another. They're also there to guide you. So the guidance that they may offer is navigation of situations that maybe they've gone through in some shape or form and you haven't yet.
Yeah. But it's different too.
But the similarities is where it's important.
Okay.
Like you with critical thinking, we can liken this new scenario to an older one.
Yeah.
They share similarities, and the way that you dealt with this scenario with strangers is the same as dealing with strangers on the internet. It has to be, because you shouldn't differentiate like that. These are both groups of strangers.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
I mean, yeah, they I think everybody kind of covered it really well. Just be careful, just be careful, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, and that goes for any sort of danger on the internet, is that it's inevitable. Unfortunately, it's inevitable, and just be careful. And that's really the only thing else I can add. Everybody else, I feel like, really covered it.
Okay. Yeah.
I feel like definitely more directed to the kids in this is like you always get like a gut feeling about everything, and it's a matter of if you are going down a rabbit hole and you're like, I don't know if I should, you probably shouldn't, and just follow that gut feeling and just go away from that. I feel like is a big thing.
Yeah.
Because even if it isn't bad, I mean,
It's
it
better
doesn't hurt
safe than
to
sorry.
not go
Yeah.
down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
No,
Yep.
pay attention.
Some of the best advice my mom ever gave me was, if you have to think about it, the answer is probably no.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember hearing a phrase, when in doubt, don't.
I
remember
something to
thinking.
say, and it's very not at all what you guys are talking about. It's
Great.
very
Way to be
different
contrary.
topic completely. Still social media though. People my age, teenagers and younger now at least, and probably older. When you see people that you know posting and you're like, God, I wish I was as cool as them. Don't fucking care. It doesn't
How-
matter.
that's 3.
Sorry, I'm my bad. I'm very.
Compound.
I'm gonna bleep you.
Yeah. Anyways, it's not real. The things they are posting, they are thinking about what they are posting, and they know they probably are editing it. They are doing it to make themselves seem cooler. And you don't have to do that, because who cares?
Yeah. FOMO is a real thing, even if it's inorganic.
For parents, FOMO is fear of missing out.
Yeah, that's a good
Yes.
point.
Yeah, no, pretty much everything that's posted on the internet is fake.
You will see the best sides of someone's life. Rarely do you see the worst, but neither one of those extremes are the boring reality that, for us, and I'm 30, and for anyone that has a job, I'm 30. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Right. The majority of your life is spent getting up, going to work, coming home, and resting, and
And-
watching TV.
I want to add, if you see people, or going out, going to the beach or something, and you're like, man, I should be as productive as them. It doesn't matter. If you're having fun being in your house, go have fun being in your house is what I do.
I have fun being in the house.
I have fun being in my
So
house.
much fun being at home.
And on that
So
note,
good.
everybody has a different way of looking at it too, because sometimes I do get the FOMO, and I do think, oh, maybe I'm not having as much fun. And what that does is, in me, it motivates me to say, maybe I should go make plans with my friends. Maybe
Yeah.
I should go outside and do something, and then I'll go do it.
Yeah.
And I feel better.
If
But
you
I
wanted-
it's a matter of attitude,
I'm saying,
It's hard, but sometimes you can't let it get you down. Which I'm agreeing with you.
I'm saying, if you see someone doing something that you don't like to do, but you're like, man, they look like they're having so much fun. But you're like, but if I do it, I probably won't have that much fun. Don't do it.
Oh, yeah.
Don't do it. It doesn't matter.
What's the
Do what
phrase?
you wanna do.
If your friend jumps off a bridge, would you jump off a bridge? I mean, probably, but
Yeah, that's what,
Depends on how
yeah,
big
right.
of a friend they are.
yeah,
Is there a bungee attached?
yeah. Same thing.
It's just social media.
Were
is
they
fake, it's
smoking
all
when they jumped?
appearances.
Yeah.
It is.
I also want to equate I don't know what parents think now, especially like my mom, her age. I don't know what your age group of people think regarding kids, as far as what they should be doing. But when I think children, I think playing outside,
Yeah.
right?
Imagination.
That's not a thing. Yeah, in a box, in a cardboard
Yeah.
box, imagination.
Oh
That's not a
yeah,
thing
in the mud,
anymore,
in the
because that's dangerous.
Yeah, we used to play outside, get kicked out of the house, don't come back until the street.
Yeah.
lights come
Right.
on.
Exactly. I remember walking around town. Where we live is pretty darn safe, but I remember walking around town as a child, and just beeping around, doing whatever with no parent supervision. But a lot of parents, I'm junior high. We walked down to
Skateboarded over the
hours.
You said
park.
child. I'm like,
Anything below 16 is a child.
Okay.
That one's a child.
I'm 17. You just said below 16.
You're below 16.
okay,
Sort
so
of like a child.
teen.
Yeah. So teen, preteen.
So even up to 18, 19.
Honestly,
you're still,
21 years old.
I'm still kind of, I'm 24 and I still feel kind of young and I'm still learning a lot
Your
of things.
brain's
Yeah.
not done cooking yet.
That's true, yeah.
Not out of the oven. But anyway, it's dangerous to do that at any age now. So children's getting out and socializing is social media at this point. So taking that away is
It's
taking
really
away their
not.
social network. But it should still be safe. Just like letting children go outside to play.
Yeah.
You still want to talk about stranger danger,
Still
etc.
gotta look both ways.
Still
Still
take
don't
your
look-
kids outside though.
Try to get them to go outside.
Yeah.
Try. But don't force them to do it either. Make it fun. Don't make
Yeah.
it a chore.
I didn't really want to go outside.
Get chickens.
yesterday, but
Chickens
I
will
went
make you go
anyway.
outside.
And I had fun. Your kids are probably going to be like, I don't know, going outside isn't fun. But if you try to make it fun, it'll be fun. I mean,
Or don't
did
try to
I
make
do
it-
anything?
honestly-
No, but I still had a good time.
Plant ideas in their brain, make them think it was their idea.
Just being outside feels nice.
That's great.
And I don't know. Sometimes it depends.
yeah, depends on what the kids are doing.
All right. Anybody have any last thoughts?
Cheers.
Cheer. All right. So
That's 3 for Maddie.
here's the end for this episode. Remember that parenting is not a cookie cutter process. Please meet your child where they are and grow from there. Until next time, everybody.
Bye.